Heartland fans, get ready because Season 19 begins with a moment that changes everything. Episode 1 doesn't just start a new chapter. It shakes the very foundation of Heartland Ranch in a way no one could have expected. The story takes a shocking turn, and the characters you thought you knew will never be the same again. Season 19 of Heartland has finally arrived, and Episode 1 wastes no time in pulling the rug from under us. The show that we've all followed for years through its laughter, tears, family bonds, and heartbreaking losses returns with a bold statement: nothing stays the same forever. From the very first scene, the tone is different. It feels heavier, more urgent, almost as if the ranch itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. And when it does, fans are left speechless. The beauty of Heartland has always been its slow, heartfelt storytelling. It has never needed explosions or over-the-top drama to grab attention. Instead, it has always relied on its deep emotional core, its family values, its horses, and its characters who feel more like our neighbors than fictional TV personalities. That's what makes Episode 1 so shocking. The twist doesn't just come from nowhere. It is woven into the very fabric of what we love about the show. It's not just a twist for drama's sake. It feels real, raw, and earned. And that's why it hits so hard. Before diving into the details of the surprise, let's pause for a moment to think about what this series means to its fans. Heartland is more than just television, it's comfort. It's a story of resilience, of families sticking together, of healing after loss. We've watched Amy step into her role as a gifted horse trainer, a healer of not just animals but also the people around her. We've watched Jack stand strong as the backbone of the ranch, even as time and age weigh heavily on him. We've seen Lou chase her dreams in politics and business, always trying to balance ambition with family responsibility. And of course, we've seen Tim, with all his flaws, trying to become a better father, a better husband, and maybe even a better man. So when Season 19 opens with such a powerful jolt, it doesn't just shock, it unsettles. It reminds us that even in Heartland, where traditions run deep and family ties are unbreakable, life has a way of testing people when they least expect it. This is the magic of the show. It reflects real life. Families grow, change, and face challenges that shake them to their core. Episode 1 proves that even after 18 seasons, the writers still know how to catch us off guard. The energy of the opening scenes is electric. Fans who tuned in expecting a calm, steady start were met instead with a storm, figuratively and emotionally. It's not about wild stunts or action-packed drama. It's about that quiet, piercing kind of shock that makes you sit back in your chair and think, did that really just happen? It's the kind of storytelling that lingers with you, the kind you'll be replaying in your mind long after the credits roll. Social media has already exploded with reactions. Fans are calling it the most unforgettable season premiere in years. Some are heartbroken. Some are excited. Some are simply stunned. But one thing is certain. Heartland Season 19 has reminded us why this show has lasted nearly 2 decades. It still has the power to surprise us, to move us, and to keep us glued to our screens. And this is only Episode 1. If the season begins with a shock this big, what else is waiting around the corner? Season 18 left fans with hearts full of questions. It wasn't a neat ending. It was the kind of conclusion that feels like life unfinished, messy, full of possibilities, but also heavy with doubt. Before we can fully grasp the impact of Season 19's shocking premiere, we need to rewind and remember where the characters were when we last saw them. Because Episode 1 doesn't just drop a twist, it builds on the emotional groundwork laid in the final moments of the last season. Amy Fleming, the soul of Heartland, stood at a crossroads at the end of Season 18, still healing from past losses, particularly the absence of Ty. She had begun to find new strength in herself and her daughter, Lindy. Amy had finally started to open her heart again, not necessarily to romance, but to life, to new challenges, and to carrying on the legacy of the horse-whispering gift that makes her unique. Fans were left wondering, would Amy continue to live only for others, or would she finally take bold steps for herself? This lingering question sets the stage for her role in Episode 1, where her choices ripple through every character around her, Jack Bartlett, the anchor of the ranch, was also left in a fragile place. Age and time have not been kind, and by the end of season 18, subtle hints showed that his health was becoming a concern. His wisdom and steady presence have always been the glue that holds the family together. But fans noticed the foreshadowing, moments of fatigue, looks of worry exchanged by family members when Jack wasn't looking, and his own quiet awareness that he may not be able to carry the load forever. Going into season 19, this uncertainty casts a shadow over the ranch. Episode 1 wastes no time in leaning into that fear, reminding us just how much Jack means not only to the Bartlett-Fleming family, but also to viewers who have seen him as a grandfather figure for nearly 2 decades. Then there's Lou, who ended season 18 balancing a million things at once: her role as mayor, her business ventures, and her responsibilities as a mother and sister. Lou has always been the one who tries to do it all, often at the expense of her own peace. But in the last season, cracks began to show. Her determination sometimes bordered on obsession, and her need for control often led to conflicts with those closest to her. Fans were left wondering if Lou could truly balance her ambition with her family ties. In episode 1 of the new season, those questions come rushing back with even more weight, as decisions Lou makes will play into the shock that sends ripples through the entire ranch. Tim, ever the complicated man, was also left in a delicate position. His efforts to repair relationships with his children, his wife, and even himself have always been a major thread in the show. But Tim is also unpredictable. His temper, his stubbornness, his mistakes often come back to haunt him. By the end of season 18, it seemed like he was finally learning, finally settling into the role of someone who wants to be better. But as longtime fans know, Tim's story never stays simple. Going into season 19, his character is one that brings both hope and dread, because we know that his actions, whether intentional or not, have a way of stirring up storms. And then there's the larger Heartland family, Georgie chasing dreams beyond the ranch, Katie finding her own voice, and Lindy representing the next generation of the Heartland legacy. Season 18 made it clear that change is inevitable and that the ranch will not always look the same. The seeds of transition were planted, and episode 1 wastes no time in watering them with a storm that forces everyone to confront just how fragile life can be. This is the genius of the build-up. The writers didn't throw in a twist for the sake of shock value. They laid the foundation in season 18 through Amy's uncertainty, Jack's vulnerability, Lou's impossible balancing act, and Tim's flawed attempts at redemption. These weren't just side plots. They were carefully woven threads leading to a dramatic collision in season 19's first episode. So as episode 1 begins, there's already a tension in the air, a sense that something is about to give. Fans who remembered the subtle warnings of last season probably felt it too. The ranch has always been a place of healing, but it's also been a place of testing. And in season 19, the test comes harder and faster than ever before. By the time the shocking moment hits, it feels like both an ending and a beginning. An ending to the peace that the characters were trying to hold on to, and a beginning to a new storm of challenges that will define the rest of the season. The calm of the Heartland Ranch has always been deceptive. Beneath the rolling hills, the open skies, and the quiet bond between people and horses, there has always been tension waiting to break. Season 19, episode 1 does not hold back. It takes that tension and turns it into a storm. The opening scenes give us warmth, the kind of familiarity we expect from Heartland. Amy working with a troubled horse, Jack sitting on the porch with coffee, Lou juggling phone calls, Tim moving with his usual stubborn energy. For a brief moment, it feels safe. But that's the trick. The show lures you in with comfort before tearing it away. The shocking moment comes swiftly, almost brutally, and yet with the kind of subtle realism that makes Heartland so different from other dramas. There's no dramatic music cue, no over-the-top setup. Instead, the twist unfolds in a quiet but devastating way, one that mirrors how life's most painful surprises often strike. 1 minute, everything feels routine, and the next, everything is changed. Episode 1 delivers not one, but 2 shocks layered so carefully that fans are left reeling. The first comes in the form of an unexpected return. A figure from the past appears at the ranch gates, someone thought long gone, someone whose shadow still lingers in the hearts of the family. The reaction is immediate: disbelief, hesitation, and a rush of buried emotions that have no easy resolution. This return alone would have been enough to shake fans. It forces characters to confront old wounds, to re-examine choices they thought they had left behind. But the second shock is even greater, and it comes in the most heartbreaking way possible. A sudden tragedy strikes close to home. It doesn't come with warning. It doesn't follow the usual beats of foreshadowing. Instead, it mirrors the unpredictable cruelty of real life. One moment, laughter fills the air. The next, silence. And in that silence, the weight of the loss settles like a stone on the entire ranch, fans who have watched this family weather storms before know how resilient they are. But this is different. This is not just another challenge to overcome. It is a wound that cuts deeper, a turning point that will echo through every storyline of the season. The family's strength will be tested in ways they never imagined. Relationships will fracture. Loyalties will be questioned. Dreams will be put on hold. And through it all, the audience will be reminded that Heartland has always been about more than horses or ranch life. It has always been about how people face the hardest parts of living. The brilliance of this episode lies in how it balances devastation with hope. Even in the midst of heartbreak, small glimmers of light break through. Amy's steady hand on a horse's mane, Jack's silent tears as he holds his family together, Lou's stubborn insistence that they will not fall apart. These moments remind us that even when life shocks us, there is always a thread of resilience. That thread is what has kept Heartland alive for 19 seasons, and it is what makes the season 19 premiere unforgettable. Viewers who thought they were prepared for a new chapter quickly realized they weren't. Social media reactions exploded within minutes of the episode airing. Words like unbelievable, gut-wrenching, and "I didn't see that coming" flooded timelines. Some fans admitted they cried. Others admitted they were angry. But none could deny the power of what they had just seen. And here's the clever part. The writers don't explain everything. They don't give away all the answers. Instead, they leave space for mystery, for speculation, for fans to argue and discuss what this twist will mean for the rest of the season. Who can be trusted now? What secrets are still hidden? And how will the family rebuild after being torn apart yet again? This is not just another season premiere. It is a statement. Heartland has been running for nearly 2 decades, and yet it still has the power to surprise, to devastate, and to make us care as if we were watching for the very first time. Episode 1 doesn't just shock, it reignites the fire of why fans fell in love with this story. In the first place, the ranch will never be the same after what happens here. And neither will we. The credits may roll on episode 1, but the shockwaves continue to echo long after the screen fades to black. What makes this season premiere unforgettable isn't just the return of a familiar face or the tragedy that shatters the calm. It's reshape every character's journey moving forward. Heartland has always been about family, about unity, about the power of love and resilience. But season 19 challenges that foundation more directly than ever. From this point on, nothing is certain. Amy, once the heart that guided everyone else, now faces a decision that could change not only her life but also the future of the ranch. Will she step into a role of even greater responsibility, or will the shock push her to finally chase a path of her own? Her story has always been one of balance between duty and desire, between healing others and healing herself. Episode 1 has tipped the scale, and fans are already speculating where she will land. Jack's storyline looms larger now as well. His quiet strength has always been the backbone of Heartland, but even he cannot carry every burden forever. The tragedy in episode 1 forces him to confront not just loss but also his own limits. For years, viewers have watched him hold the family together through sheer willpower. But this time, he may need the family to hold him. That vulnerability, though painful, opens the door to some of the most emotional storytelling Heartland has ever attempted. Lou's arc, too, is sharpened by the events of the premiere. Her ambitions have often placed her in conflict with those around her, but now she must face the reality that family cannot always wait. Episode 1 reminds her, and us, that success means little if the people you love are slipping away. Will Lou finally find a balance, or will her drive once again lead her down a path that costs more than she is willing to pay? Fans are already debating her choices online, and the season has only just begun. And then there's Tim, complicated, flawed, but deeply human Tim, for years. His mistakes have tested his children and his wives, but his love for his family has never been in question. The shock of episode 1 places Tim in a position where he must either rise to the occasion or fall apart completely. His reaction to this tragedy may define not only his character arc but also the strength of the entire ranch moving forward. This is what makes Season 19 so gripping. Shock in episode 1 is not an isolated event. It's not simply a twist to keep fans talking. It's a carefully planted earthquake that shakes every storyline at once. From Amy's choices to Jack's strength, Lou's sacrifices to Tim's redemption. Every single thread is pulled tighter because of this one moment. And that means the rest of the season is guaranteed to be filled with conflict, healing, growth, and the kind of emotional storytelling that Heartland does better than any show on television. But what does this mean for us, the fans? It means speculation. It means late-night discussions, theories, and endless rewatching of episode 1 to catch every detail, every clue. Already, viewers are flooding forums and social media with predictions. Some believe the returning character's presence will create more chaos than healing. Others think the tragedy will unite the family in ways they've never been united before. And then there are whispers that this season could be one of the last. That the shock in episode 1 is not just a twist, but the beginning of an endgame. Of course, only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the premiere has set the tone. This is not a season of quiet comfort. This is a season of change. A season of heartbreak and resilience. A season where every character will be pushed to their limits, and every fan will be holding their breath to see what comes next. And now comes the most important part, your voice. Yes, you, the fan who has laughed and cried with this family for nearly 2 decades. What did you think of episode 1? Did the shocking return take you by surprise? Did the tragedy leave you in tears? Or did you see hints that others may have missed? Share your thoughts, your feelings, your theories in the comments below. Because Heartland has always been about community, not just the fictional one at the ranch, but the real one made up of millions of fans across the world who live and breathe this story. If episode 1 has already left us this stunned, imagine what episode 2, episode 3, and the rest of the season might hold. The journey is only beginning, and the best way to experience it is together. So keep watching, keep discussing, and keep holding on to the hope that no matter how much the world of Heartland changes, its spirit, the spirit of love, resilience, and family will never fade. And one final thought to leave you with. If the premiere has already shaken us this much, maybe it's not just the characters who need to prepare for what's coming next. Maybe it's us too.